time they were directly from my own personal experiences because I believe that art to me should be a personal healing process to me. So usually it's about the issues that I'm dealing with at the time of creating. So it's directly related to my own life. That's when I believe art can be genuine. So I don't really create works based on fictional things. Yeah, that's my process.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Nice. Yeah, I read about the healing space, and I believe you also are trying to create this healing space for other people as well. Or is it more like really for you, really personal, or you really try to connect with others as well? Like, how does that work?
Mm, I think it depends on the work itself. Sometimes if it's related, mostly when it's related to sex, I think it's more of a personal healing and growth. But if it's related to politics, and I mean, to me, they're all politics, but it's more like racial politics. If it's related to that, I would try to relate to other people more.
Hmm.
So it really depends on the work itself.
Okay. And your ideology that you state is family unfriendly. That really captured my attention. Can you comment on that?
When I was back in the US or just when I'm attending international activities, artistic scenarios, they would usually use this word family friendly. And unfortunately, my works usually revolve around sex and sexuality, nudity, that kind of issues. So I just felt like I was rejected and pushed out by a lot of organizations and settings. So that's when I was really curious what that means, this family friendliness, and who can decide what's friendly to the family. How grown ups control how children see and what they can see, that kind of thing. But that's a more complicated issue.
Yeah.
So I just coined this word, family and friend.
Coming to your photograph series that you actually entered the Radical Empathy Call by wendy.network, I assume that the inspiration then come from you staying in the US, in the New York City.
To do something that's more connected to other people. Because as you can see, many of my, I think it's the nature of performance works. It's the creating process usually only involve just a few people. I was thinking, oh, maybe I can just recruit some models. Most of them didn't really identify themselves with me. They were just, I saw them more as participants or performers, but I think calling them models is okay as well. So, yeah, that's that's the first photography project that I ever done back then. So it was a very interesting experience to me because I really tried to work with many different people from different cultural, racial, and just sexual orientations, backgrounds.
Were there any challenges due to the fact that they weren't actually models, and they perhaps the topic was even perhaps sensitive to some of them or most of them?
Yeah, more people than I thought actually came because I posted on Facebook saying, "Oh, I'm doing this project and it's about racial politics in the US." In terms of not them being not professional models, I think it's actually a good thing to me because my modeling practice, I for most of the times I was trying to defy the mainstream beauty like how people imagine a model can be. So I've never really tried to fit myself into that structure. So when I was imagining this project, I didn't really want them to be a beautiful model or anything. I just want to present their bodies and their stories. The interesting thing about the project is that after that project, when I was back to Taiwan, I started to create my own somatic, or you can say, course. I call it non-traditional modeling, which is the combination of my background of dance, somatic practice, meditation, that kind of thing. I think this course and this practice was heavily influenced by that experience working with amateur performers and models.
I understand. So, how did you connect your artwork, US Wholesome Shelter, to radical empathy? Can you explain the thought process there?
I think it can be tied back to what I said about trying to capture what other people's emotions, feelings, and backgrounds. When I bought the camera and I thought, oh, maybe I can start to create some images, visual products, I thought, no, I don't want to go there. I want to really see what a photographer, what photography can do to capture emotions and capture being empathetic through lens, through camera. So when I'm behind the camera, how can I be in sync with the performers, not just as an outsider. So I think that can be tied back to non-traditional modeling. When I do modeling, I really try to connect with whoever is watching me, whoever is with me. So to me, it's about how people can connect with each other. The word connection is very important. I think radical is a rather broad word for me, but in terms of radical, I think it's just that just by breaking down and restructuring what a photography work should be and what beauty should be, to show different body types, different racial backgrounds, different stories, I think that's radical enough. Instead of just presenting stories that everyone can see every day, breaking down rules, breaking down structures by being empathetic.
Nice, yeah, I agree. What kind of art are you working on right now, if at all? What are you focusing on?
I would say my artistic creation, they are based on intuition a lot.
Mhm.
Meaning, if I have anything to say at the moment, like I'm not that kind of person that'll just push myself to say things if I don't feel anything.
Mhm.
So in terms of performance, that's it. And after I came back to Taiwan in 19, I started to focus on teaching
Mm.
and creating my own practices and courses more. But
Mhm.
back then, I didn't really see it as that artistic that much. But then, as time moves on, I think it right now, it to me is very artistic, and it's also about creation.